Hello, my name is Padilla, and today I'm going to present activity number 8. First of all, let's start by defining what is quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is a branch of physics that studies the behavior of particles at the smallest scales, like atoms and subatomic particles, like electrons and photons. Unlike classical physics, which describes the behavior of objects we see in everyday life, like cars, balls, and planets, quantum mechanics deals with phenomena that often seem strange, counterintuitive, or even impossible by classical standards. Quantum mechanics divides into three basic principles. We have observation, entanglement, and superposition. Now we'll talk a little bit about them. The first principle of quantum mechanics is observation. Observation is that in quantum mechanics, particles can have any state at any moment until we observe it or we measure them. So before we look at a particle, it can have multiple states. But as soon as we observe it or measure it, it takes up one state. In other words, what do we have? That in a world, a tiny particle can have many states, but we observe it and we take up one state. It will become one state. So in other words, looking at a particle can change its way or its state. So for example, we can toss up a coin in the air and it will have this magical coin. And we'll toss up that coin in the air. What will happen? The coin decides or is in a state of having either of landing in heads or tails, but we are not looking at it. We just know that we tossed it and it's going to hit the ground. Until we observe it, the coin chooses to be either head or tail. Well, it is the one that landed on the floor. So we don't know, but until we observe the state or the particle, it took up its state or it decided what to be in that moment. Now we have the second principle of quantum mechanics, entanglement. What is entanglement? Entanglement is when two or more particles are linked together or entangled together. What happens when these two particles are linked, no matter how far apart they are, how near they are, what happens to one happens to another one. So it doesn't matter how far what is happening, but what happens to one, it happens to another one. What can happen, even if one is in the other side of the universe, what happens to one entangled particle happens to another entangled particle, and this happens in the speed of light. For example, and this is a little funny example so we can get the hang of it. We can have a magic bracelet. Me and two more friends, let's say. So what's going to happen? This magnetic bracelet, is going to be entangled between the three of us. So whatever happens to this bracelet is going to happen to the three bracelets in total. So today I want to pour my bracelet purple. So at the second, my friend's bracelet will also change to purple. No matter how far we are, in our part of the world, we are far apart, we are in our universe, our entangled bracelets will always change as each one of us changes it. So that's a little example I can give you for entanglement. Now we have the third and final principle of quantum mechanics, superposition. So what happens to superposition? We can may say that it's the same operation, but not. Observation is that we have multiple states, but until we observe it, it decides them. But in superposition, we have that a quantum particle, like an electron particle, can have multiple states once and can be at multiple locations at once. In other words, particles can be in multiple places and in multiple times and in multiple states until we check on them. So we will have a little example. As we said before, we can have observation and superposition. But the difference is that in superposition, you can have both states at the same time. But in observation, it can only decide one state. From all it can decide. But superposition, it can have both states at the same time. And until we go check or until we have time to look at it, we'll see that it has one state. But in observation, we observe it. But in superposition, it has both states at the same time until we go check on it. So, for example, we could throw a coin, but it won't be heads and tails at the same time. It will go in which heads or tails until we look. But here we have the examples of first cat. What happens here? We put a cat in a box and it's with a poison. If that cat gets a poison, it's a poison, it's going to be dead. It's going to be dead. But if the cat doesn't get the poison, it's going to be alive. But until this day, I think, we don't know if the cat is dead or alive. So the cat is in the superposition on both states of being dead and alive at the same time. Why? Because we don't know really what is happening inside the box. If we open the box and we realize and we check if the cat didn't eat the poison or it is alive, we have one state. But at that time of the cat being inside the box, it has both states at the same time in any location. So that's the difference between superposition and observation. Let's start with the question. Now we have question number one. How do you define your own beliefs about reality? Do you see yourself as religious, spiritual, atheist, agnostic, or something else entirely? They simply change your understanding of the world around you. So I define my reality. I'm a very religious person. I'm a Catholic. Have these beliefs shaped your understanding of the world? Yeah, these really have changed my understanding, have shown me more moral values, understanding about the world, about the people, about loving other people, about understanding other people, about knowing that we're not all in the same circumstances, that we are all suffering different, we all live in different contexts, and that God made us to His image, and that we need to love each other as we need to love Him, to always respect each other, and to always be there for everyone. Has learned about quantum mechanics, particular concepts like strawberry effect or entanglement, challenge or inform your current belief? Not really. This new knowledge about quantum mechanics has not really affected my belief of higher power. I will always believe in God, but it's really interesting how science tries to explain so many things. And I really like this new concept that we learned today. I have never, I know I have heard about them, especially about like Georgian's cat, but they're really interesting. I look at some videos and the videos you send us and everything. It's a very broad topic. It wasn't difficult, but it took me some time to understand the the definitions of them. So I hope you understood my definitions I gave about them. It was it took me time to understand them, but it was a really fun activity. But no, it didn't reshape or change my beliefs. Then we have question number three. If consciousness is indeed a significant factor in your reality, as some interpretation of quantum mechanics suggests, how does this affect your view of the self? Do you see yourself as a creative reality, a participant, or a passive observer? So, as we saw, we have observation, assignment, and superposition. Um, I feel like we shape our reality. Yeah, in some ways, I feel like our destiny is determined by ourselves and by God and by the world and by whatever we believe. I go by God, but some people believe that destiny is forced, it's already done, it's already that it can be changed. Also, I feel like destiny is already like established, but you can change it. It's up to you if you decide either to study or not, to go abroad or not, to sleep or not, because every small act can change or alter your future, right? But as we know, consciousness is what makes us us. Computers don't have consciousness, as we saw in the video. Computational things don't have consciousness. Consciousness is something that is mm, innate of humans. So we're the ones that consciousness is in us, and we are sometimes act in conscious ways because we don't our consciousness is so back there, and we have so many things and so many feelings and so many emotions and so many things that are close together and stuck here and encapsulated in our brain that our conscious is a good and a bad weapon, right? It is up to us and up to our values how our consciousness will react to certain situation. I see myself as a creator of a participant in a reality of the universe. I participate in this reality, but I'm the creator of my own reality. Yes, I said before, we forge our destiny, but um, our destiny depends on us. So yeah, I feel like we are participants of the reality of the universe. So we participate in the universe, but I am the creator of my own reality, but I participate in someone else's reality as a second character, as a main character, as a friend, as a couple, as a enemy that I don't want to, yeah, but we never know what reality someone is living and what his consciousness, her consciousness tells them about us. Now we have another question. We have question number 4. What role does science play in your beliefs? And do you believe scientific principle like quantum mechanics can coincide with spiritual or religious belief, or do you think they are conflicting? I believe that science and spirituality are two the same but different things. Why? Because in some ways, science can explain the Bible or belief, but there's concrete evidences about God and Jesus Christ and everything that happened in the Bible, but scientists cannot explain what happened. To this day, we cannot really explain where we come from, where we appear from, uh, what happens to us after death, or what's going to happen, what happens to us in our life, when we had another life. So there are theories. There are all theories. We don't completely know where the theory about evolution, the theory about God. There are theories. Biologically, they all have their own explanation and their own like evidences away. But they can coexist. I believe a lot in science, but science is science and spirituality is another thing. But even though science is adapting and advancing, there's some theories that to this day are not proven and will not be proved. We don't know when. And I don't know, I know that God is not proven, we may say by science, but as a human and as I believe, I feel him, I know him, and I know that he can coexist with science. So yeah, knowing about science is something that I really like. I don't think it is conflicting in any way. I really like, and today's topic is really interesting. I don't see why thinking and having a belief about God or any other religion can affect my beliefs about science. Science is one thing, and beliefs and my beliefs are another. And increasing my beliefs is very joyful, and knowing more about science and about every theory, about every law that exists, it's super fun and super interesting. And today, quantum mechanics. After this video is uploaded and everything is finished, I'm going to go further and learn further about and understand more quantum mechanics. It's a really fun topic, and I really like learning about it. You identify as an atheist argument. How do you interpret the content in quantum? I'm not an atheist or agnostic, so maybe I'll not answer this question. But as we said before, um, the science and religion can exist at the same time, and I don't think why we should have conflict about them between them. I believe in God, but I understand science, and I want to understand what explanation they're trying to give us. So yeah, I really like quantum mechanics. For those, and now we have question number 6. For those without religion and spiritual belief, how do you integrate scientific idea like quantum mechanics into understanding of the universe and a higher power? They enhance really because God made the universe in such unique ways, intricate ways. So yeah, we're all made of atoms. Everything is made of atoms. They have protons, electrons, photons, everything. Yeah, everything. Yeah. So if they integrate, yeah, they may help me even think more about God and how specific and how careful he was with the creation of so many things, and especially about and in the scientific way, without being religious in any way. Um, Atoms are so interesting, but they are so small. Here, we're made of so many atoms ourselves, the chairs, my laptop, my water bottle, the water, my this desk, the light, everything is made of atoms, but we cannot see them. So it's so interesting how something so small can make up something so big and so interesting and so thankful. Animals, everything is such made of atoms. So it's so interesting how something so small can make something so incredible, so amazing. So yeah, they may enhance my beliefs and they may not challenge it because they are just more knowledge and more interesting things. Now we have question number 7. Do you think the universe has a purpose or intention in manifesting this principle of quantum mechanics? Or do you think it's simply a phenomenon without underlying meaning? Yeah, I think the universe has an intention in manifesting this principle. It's really interesting and it's really fun. It's not just a phenomenon that happens. I feel like the more and the more we go into them, the more we're going to understand and have more information about superposition, about observation, about entanglement, especially entanglement. So uh, fun and so interesting because two particles are linked together, and what happens to one happens to the other, one, like we said before. So I feel like it's a way of the universe of making us understand even more because it is so big and it has so many things that to this day we have not even understood or discovered. So yeah, it's a universe manifesting quantum mechanics. Now we have question number 8. To what extent do you think consciousness plays a role in creating reality? Do you believe your observation has an input on one dimension of life? So consciousness, we said before, depends on us. It is our conscious self. We are the one. We are conscious that we're breathing, that we're looking at the. I'm conscious that I'm doing my homework. I'm conscious that I have to study for this week's exam. So yeah, my observation has an impact on my events for our life. Because if I observe and I'm conscious that something my friend is doing or something that I'm doing is bad, I will not be feeling like procrastinating, like lying, like sleeping more, eating more, because it is not healthy. I know that and it's impacting my everyday life. If I sleep more, I'll have less time for homework, I'll have less time to eat, I will have less time to study, and I will have less time, and so etc. 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 So one little event can um, can encadenar a lot of more events and a lot of flow from one little event into a big one. So that's why I feel like yeah, reality and consciousness and observation have a real impact on everyday life. Now we have the last question, question number 9. If interconnection or entanglement is real at a quantum level, what implications does it have for human relationship and the idea of connection with others? So I really like this question. So this means that what I understand is that people can become entangled in a certain way. Yeah. I don't know if you know about the case that when a woman gets pregnant, his partner may sense or may feel the pregnancy symptoms like morning sickness, headaches, vomiting. I think only headaches and morning sickness, the emotional distress, and everything like that. So in that way, the partners are entangled together in some emotional and in some molecular way. So I feel like Yeah, humans um, uh, are entangled in some way. I feel like when we spend too much time with people, we become entangled not just emotionally but physically. I feel like we start like acting like the same, not acting the same, but acting in coexisting ways. So yeah, a entanglement really affects human relationships and idea connection with others because now we have empathy. We can have empathy enter the question, and we can feel and we can understand other people and become entangled with their feelings, their way of acting, and everything. So yeah, I feel like entanglement is real in humans. It can happen so much, and it's such a beautiful and such a fun connection that humans can have. So yeah, entanglement can really happen in humans. So thank you so much for your attention. I really hope you understood and like my explanations about the definitions about quantum mechanics and the three principles: observation, superposition, and entanglement. I hope you have a blessed day and see you next time.